Got me, Zach Whiteside. We got Flozell Adams. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? It's been a
Pretty.
long week.
It has been a long week, a lot of work. I've actually been installing. I've been installing shades for a week and a half, and I can tell you right now, outdoor shades are a pain in the ass.
Shades, man. This is Jack of all trades, I always call him. The Zach
I,
of all trades.
they're automated shades, so we
Oh,
control them. Yeah, we can make them auto go down, auto go up. We can do all that stuff. So
yeah, modern
you
technology.
know,
Back in the day, you
yeah.
used to roll those shades down with your hand or they pop and smack you in the face.
And back when my dad would be like, close the curtains, boy." Nowadays, we can hit a button and the curtains close. So yeah, I love it. All right, so as usual, football, because it is football season. So I want to start out because we talked about this last week, and that was I was personally okay if Michigan State lost the game, but I at least wanted to see something. And I watched this game while I was sitting in the middle of a Children of the Corn field
Oh,
at a hillbilly birthday party. And we won't go into whose family it was, but it was a hillbilly birthday party.
oh
and
goodness.
I sat there and watched it. And to be honest with you, I did not see a good showing. I didn't even see, like, you would go, oh, okay, well, that was good.
Yeah,
I
there was
mean,
no gas at all. I mean, especially from last week, and I didn't see anything from the beginning.
no.
Not, I mean, give them a chance to do something, and there was no chance at all. It's like they just went out there and just played, just hoping that the game would go faster. And I was definitely disappointed in that. I was hoping there would be a little fire left in those guys for the next couple of games, especially starting Ohio State. At least try to go out there and cause some type of disruption to be able to, kick the number one team nation in the ass. I mean,
I
just
mean,
beat them up. Just
just
beat them up, but there
anything.
was none of that.
Yeah,
None of that at all.
just a good showing. It's just like anything. Just give me a good showing. I'll take a good showing. I don't need you to win. I don't need you to do anything extravagant. I just need it to look like you feel like you're supposed to be playing football. Not even half. It just did you want to be out there playing football, and I didn't see it.
Well, I mean, the problem is like being a former player. It's like you got to have some integrity within yourself. You got to have some pride. Maybe you won't win, but maybe you will. It's always a little chance that you'll win, especially against teams like that because they're pretty much underestimating. And they underestimated and they won, and it's just fair and square. But at least go out there and play like you have some pride within yourself. It's
Yep.
not about what the fans want to see. It's not about what I want to see or you want to see. You got to have it within yourself to go out there and just go in a battle with your comrades and know that you didn't lay down at the beginning of the game before you had to lay down. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of BS, and I'm disappointed being a Spartan to watch that stuff. And hopefully, the next game. I don't think I got one more game.
I
One more
got two
game, they can
more.
pull it. Two
I
more
got
games
yeah.
to be able to show something, especially if you're a senior. These the last two games you're ever going to play,
Yeah.
ever.
You got
You got to
Indiana
go out
this week.
there, throw your body around, do something, and punch some dudes in the gut. Do something.
Yeah.
Show it. You got to show it.
Yeah, so you got Indiana on Saturday, and then their last game of the season is Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, you got Indiana. People probably down in Texas never even heard of Indiana like that beside the basketball team. But you'll mess around Indiana and get smacked 30 to 14 too.
Yeah,
So you got to
and
go out there and show it. I wish you'd show it. Put some pizzazz in these dudes' butts and just go out there and just do it. It's
I,
just frustrating right now. I want to say more.
well, you want to say more,
But
but you don't want to be
yeah, I don't
mean
want
and
to be
stuff like that.
overbearing with it and say the wrong thing. But come on, guys, come on.
We
If this word get out, come on, do it for yourself. Because
yeah
eventually, 2 years after you graduate or after you play, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, you're gonna remember the last couple of games, especially. And you're
yeah
gonna like don't no matter how much you lie about it, if that's what you're gonna do, you're gonna remember yourself that you didn't give it your all your last couple of games.
Yeah, and you can't just do the blame. Well, we lost our so what? Move forward.
Yeah,
It's yeah. Best foot
that's
forward. Best foot forward. So we're gonna stay in Michigan, and we're gonna
you
go
know,
to
talk about
Michigan.
bitch again. Talk
we're gonna
about
go.
bitch again.
We're gonna go to Michigan. I only say that because that's what you call them.
Yeah,
So
bitch again.
I saw, if you do something you're not supposed to do, it should be as simple as, hey, I did something. You guys decided to suspend me for 3 days, for 3 games. I get it. I'm gonna take my medicine and I'm gonna move forward. But an article came out yesterday on ESPN that Michigan's Jim Harbaugh plans to attend court hearing. So after I started reading it, I realized that Michigan is trying to argue his suspension. And it just, are they denying it happened? Because I don't think there's any denying it, right?
No, it's not any denying it. The evidence is there. All the
So
pictures and videos and stuff like that. This guy, I don't, whatever his name is, did not wake up in the morning, and whenever he first started, didn't wake up in the morning and said that I am going to go spy on these teams. He didn't think about that. He didn't say he's going to do that and pass the information to the coach. Some coach had told him to do that, whether it was the position coach, whether it was the offensive defense coordinator, whether it was the head coach. And if Jim Harbaugh didn't say it, he knew about it because defensive coordinator or his understudies are his second man in charge, offensive defense coordinator, along with the position coach. If anyone told this guy to do this, Jim Harbaugh knows there's no way that you're going to be a head coach, especially with information like this, that you didn't know what's going on. I will not believe that.
So for me, it kind of changes. So let's just say this guy says, okay, I'm going to go do it. And no coach told him anything. When that guy comes back to the team and says, hey, this is the information that I have, at that point you would say, okay, don't do it again.
Exactly.
And they said, we're not going to use the information that you have. Don't do it again. And even if they, then they go to, at some point, Harbaugh has to know. There's just, it's not possible to go, okay, we have the success. And how do they know what's going on over here? He had to at some point. And supposedly this has been going on for years, correct?
Yes,
they've kind of backtracked it. Right.
Yeah.
So let's just say that it went on for 3 years, right? After the first year, if Harbaugh goes, hey, man, I need to know how you guys are doing. Oh, we got a guy who he's doing it on his own,
exactly.
But he's out there scouting. At that point, it's up to Harbaugh to go, hey, man, we're done. No more of that. We are not that team. So that's my point to him saying, well, I'm going to say something at this meeting. And it's like, well, just take your medicine and move forward. They only suspended you for three fucking games. It's only 3 games, man. And you guys are rocking and rolling. So just move forward. But no, he's in this article, he's talking about, I'm going to talk on Friday. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to due process. Well, due process is, it doesn't matter. You had to have known. There's your due process.
Well, yeah, like I said, he's known. And what you said brings up a good example. Just in case he didn't know, that information did get back to him. And he's like, oh, man, this is not Michigan football brand. Fire that guy. We didn't ask to fire that guy. If he found out and knew who it was, he should have said, we fired this guy. Or just like you said, no, we don't want that information. That's not how we do it. Sit back and do what we tell you to do. But right. No. This has been happening for years. And there's video recordings of Harbaugh talking to this dude during the game.
Hey, man, what'd you see? Did you see how they're lining up? What are we doing?
That? Yeah, what call is that? What are they going to do? Yeah, come on. Come on, man.
It's
that's ridiculous.
But what always gets me about that is, is the not fessing up to it. Just fess up to it. Just come forward and say, hey, yep, we did wrong, or even don't admit you're wrong, but don't sit there and fight a 3-game suspension.
Well, I
Just
think he should have been suspended for the rest of the season for doing that because that's uncalled for. He knew about it, and it just causing a disruption for the players on that team. Whether they knew it or not, they just out there playing. They probably most likely didn't just playing,
yeah.
and it just a cancer that's like a big old sore that just keep opening and opening and opening further. Just take it and move forward and do what you have to do. But no, that's not what they're going to do. And if you didn't know, I read that the judge that's proceeding the case
Is Michigan
went to
graduate.
Michigan. Oh, how did that happen?
Oh, I wonder how he's gonna
I
roll
wonder
out.
how did that happen. That's why he only got 3 games and didn't get suspended for the season.
Yeah.
I believe if there was any other anything else, or NCAA would have did it, or wherever NCAA is in New York, they would have suspended him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I thought about the point you made that you shouldn't take, because I mentioned to you, they should take their ranking because their success. And now I get it. I get what you're saying, that it's then you're punishing the guys who are playing the game, and that makes a lot. You're punishing the kids, in yeah. So I
And
agree now with you on that about taking their ranking.
yeah, as much as I dislike Michigan, but the players out there, you got to really start thinking about them. Just like the Michigan State players, when they
Yeah.
had the controversy with the last head coach, with all everything that's going on, you think stuff like that doesn't affect them? Of course it does. Same thing with the head coach of Michigan. Get all this controversy and everything like that. It might seem fun and games and they smile around, but on the inside, you never know, it can affect you in some sort of way. So it's not fair for the players, and those are the main people out there that's providing this entertainment for everybody.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make a correction. I thought Marvin Harrison Jr. played for Michigan. He plays for Ohio.
Yes, Ohio
Yeah.
State. How did you do that?
I don't know, but last week I was sitting there going, remember I kept saying I want their wide receiver, I want their wide receiver, and I just, for some reason, I thought Marvin Harrison um what was at Michigan. But yeah, I let's see, I actually was looking at the
Yeah, they're talking about the potential. Well, he will be a top 5 pick, if not number 1.
oh no, yeah, yeah, that dude's ridiculous. So
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. So now that moves us into, we're going to talk the NFL draft, but it's really, we're going to talk about the NFL. So Thursday night's game was Chicago, Carolina. And the reason I'm saying that in conjunction with Marvin Harrison Jr. is Carolina, as of today, Carolina has the number 1 overall pick. But they traded it to Chicago last draft so they could get Bryce Young. So that means that as of right now, the Chicago Bears have the number 1 overall pick. Please, Carolina, keep screwing up, because I want Marvin Harrison Jr.
So what was the deal? They had to lose a certain amount of games to be able to provide a different pick for Chicago.
No, Chicago swapped last year's number 1
Yeah.
overall pick for Carolina's first round pick. Plus, we got DJ Moore, which DJ Moore's ridiculous. It's just they're not. I mean, they are using him correctly now, but and he's getting a lot of double teams. But as long as Carolina continues to lose, Chicago will have the number 1 overall pick. And as of today, we have the number 5 because we won. We beat
Wow.
we beat Carolina by 3 points, and that actually goes into a later segment I'm going to do. Don't get too excited.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't get it. I mean,
Don't get too excited.
Carolina Bears not going to make it to the playoffs, but the number 1
No.
pick, like the number 1 pick, 1 pick.
Yes, the number 1 overall pick is the Carolina, which Chicago has.
Oh man, I like right now. I'm thinking that Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm fine with the two quarterbacks we have. By the way, Dobbs is doing very well in Minnesota. You guys should sign Dobbs to a big ass contract and let Kirk Cousins go. And Chicago, if you're smart, you got plenty of money in the cap. Go get Kirk Cousins and allow him to throw to DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr. Keep Mooney in there to distract people. Keep your tight ends. You have all the pieces that you need on offense, at least. Yeah, but it'd be nice that
Maybe get a vet running back. A guy about 5 or 6 years that can carry about 6, 7 balls a game or something, or a third down guy that would definitely be beneficial for the Bears. But I like what you just said.
I do.
I totally like that.
Yeah. I'm 100% fire Kirk Cousins from Minnesota. Chicago gets him.
Well, he's going to be a free agent anyways, but for about 45 seconds, let's talk about that Dobbs. I don't understand why is he. What is this? It's 15 aerospace engineer.
Yeah,
he's only been with the team 2 weeks, and he's throwing 300 something friggin' yards. Why are these teams wanting him? What's the big deal? I mean, goodness gracious. Well, I mean, I like that guy. I watched him the other day when he was playing. I was like, this guy only been on the team 2 weeks. And he was balling down there in Arizona until like the last 2 games. Something happened where he didn't do well, but that's not totally his fault. Because Arizona is a bad team. They traded him away to Minnesota, and look what he's doing right now. But that is totally amazing. But going back to the Bears, veteran running back.
I like Foreman, though. That guy Foreman we have is actually pretty good.
All right. They need another. He's stiff. He can't cut the angles real well. He's just a straight runner. He's going to run up the back of the guards and the center, which is what you want them to do, but have a little move or something. He's just running straight into him. I'm like,
he's just hammering. He's Derrick Henry and people. He's just trying to hammer.
Yeah, he was hammering that stuff. I mean, it was a couple of times he just took a step or a shit like that. He could have did another 20 yards or another 6, 7 yards. He just don't do it. I don't know if he don't have a vision or anything or what, but I mean, he's pretty good for right now, but I think they need another veteran back. They could trade for that. I can't
I was about to say, who would you want?
Well, he's not a veteran. He's a second-year player. And they can trade maybe a second, third-round pick for him, that Atlanta guy, Algier.
Oh, yeah.
He ran 1,000 yards his first year. I think he was undrafted, a late-round pick, and then they still went and drafted the first-round pick. So I'm sure he's unhappy with that and would love a trade to another team to be able to prove himself to be a number one back. That can be an idea.
Yeah, I think, and it's the major thing with any team. It's if you don't have the wide receivers, the defense concentrates on the running back. If you don't have the running back, everybody concentrates on the wide receivers. And Chicago, to me, is on that teeter of, yes, you have DJ Moore and you have Mooney and you have a decent tight end, but you're all over the place in running back, and your quarterback you flip a coin to see what your quarterback's going to do. And that's whether it's this kid or Justin Fields. I mean, neither one of them are playing consistent, but you get somebody like Kirk Cousins, and it's just numbers.
He's going to definitely give you some numbers. Give you some numbers. But do they have 2 first-round picks next year?
Oh, Chicago?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, they do. We're number 5 right now. Number 1 and number 5.
Number 1 and number 5. I mean, I would say
the other day we were number 2 and number 3. But
wow. I would say that they can get the wide receiver, Marvin Harrison, number 1. And number 2, I would say get offensive lineman, need a guard, but guards normally don't need to pick that high. They can get a good guard in the second round, third round, depending if that pick is available. So they definitely need another guard. You can a guard and then a center, or a guard that can play center, or vice versa. But that would be a good thing. And they definitely need a DB. So it can be a wide receiver and a DB, and then like the next 2 rounds, if possible, depending on the best player, get some offensive linemen.
Yeah, that is
Now, if they don't do it with that, I mean, you can't expect those guys to sit up there and just ball out their first year. I mean, maybe Harrison because they're going to have a good wide receiver core,
Yep.
but they should complement to the other guys that are the veterans because you do have a lot of veterans on that team, and there should be no excuses. If they don't go to the playoffs next year, it'll be a total failure.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
wipe it all out. You got to wipe it all out. Sweep it under
Yeah.
the
So
rug, dispose of it, throw it in the trash, and put it in the bin and let the garbage truck pick it up. It's done. It's over. Back to the drawing board, and better luck next time.
yeah. So our next game, Colts beat the New England Patriots 10-6, and the news is they're still not getting rid of Belichick.
Oh man, who are they gonna get right now? I mean, so
I don't know.
what was my prediction last week of Colts and New England? I said New England, didn't I?
I do not know. I do not hold you to your picks, but I don't remember. I think I picked the Colts. I'm almost sure I did because I like Minshew.
Okay, I
So
think I picked the New England Patriots with that.
yeah,
Matt Jones is they're not very happy with him out there,
yeah,
so that's going to be interesting to see if they're going to go first round for another quarterback or they're just going to pick up a veteran.
yeah. New England right now is number 3 overall in their picks. So if they just stay where they're at, they're going to be the number 3 overall pick.
Well, they can lose every game
Yeah,
for the existence of this earth if I give a damn because I don't like
yeah,
those guys. Never did. Even when the Bears beat them back in 1985, I didn't like them then. So,
yeah.
whatever, New England Patriots.
We both picked the Ravens to win. The Browns pulled it out of their yin yang on that fucking game. That was crazy.
Yeah,
33 to 31.
they were doing pretty good at the beginning of the game, and then they kind of fizzled towards the end of the third quarter, and they just couldn't connect it again like they did the first half. And Watson got hit a couple of times, but he made some good plays towards the end, which counted them to get that field goal. And that's just simple as it is. You got to keep playing to the fourth quarter. You can't stop. It's the
Yeah.
NFL. I don't care if you're 1-15 or 15-1. I mean, everybody's due for a loss, so you just got to keep going. And they didn't do it, and they lost the game.
Yeah. Our next one, Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Green Bay Packers. I think there was a ton of hype on Jordan Love and sitting behind what's his name? Aaron Rodgers, and they're sitting at 3-6 now. Pittsburgh's actually at 6-3.
And
So they're not.
Pittsburgh is gonna find a way to win. That's just what they do. They find a
Yeah.
way to win, and it's usually always some type of scrappy stuff. They never can win a clean game that's like 35-7. They're gonna scrap it out to the end. Those are guys that keep playing all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Those are the type of teams that Mike Tomlin has, so which leads them to have go to the playoffs every year. They don't finish to the end.
Yeah.
And I don't actually think that Love is doing a bad job. I mean, he's just doing the best he can with what he has. So they
Yeah.
got until next year or two to start building the team around him because one of the
He's a good
receivers,
he's a good enough quarterback.
yeah, he's a good enough quarterback to get some wins.
Yeah.
They just starting from new. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was there for 15 plus years. I mean, you can't expect the other guy to come in and just start balling out and become 14-3. So
Yeah.
it's just going to take some time for those Packers. Unfortunately, the Bears. I hope the Bears will be up there before they come back. So we shall see.
Yeah, we got one more game against them this year. Uh so San Francisco just took out all their anger on Jacksonville.
And I think I picked Jacksonville for that.
No, you wouldn't have picked. Did you really?
I think I picked Jacksonville for that.
No.
I
I
thought that Lawrence was going to hammer them because the defense wasn't playing good the last couple of games. And I'm thinking this
Ooh.
dude was going to throw for 350 yards and just air it out. And they just couldn't get the. They played like Michigan State last week. And they just didn't have any gas or something in the beginning. And 49ers defense, they just jumped on them and started beating up Jesus Christ Superstar pretty good. And he could never he could never recover. He didn't have any help. He couldn't recover. And nothing that they called would help. And there was times in the end of the second half that they were making some plays, getting it down the field, but there's something stupid that happened that caused a penalty, and so they had to move back, and it just wasn't working well for them.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence was 17 of 29, 185 yards, 2 interceptions.
That's not good for a guy who likes to air the ball out.
No. So next is the Saints got in Minnesota got beat. I mean, man, Dobbs is 268 yards, 23 of 34, 268 yards. I mean,
Second
wow.
game there. The second game there. Amazing.
Yeah.
What is an aerospace engineer? I mean, what a great story.
Yeah,
What
no
a
joke.
great story. I mean, this guy just going out there doing it. And Carr got hurt. Did you see that hit?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he
Oh
got
man, when I
crap
saw
walked
it,
out of him.
I was like, oh man, I know that hurt. I know he's still feeling today.
Yeah, and Jameis Winston came in, but I was the one reason that I like watching the Saints, watch Taysom Hill. If there if there was a picture that belonged in the encyclopedia of Mr. Football back quarterback and doesn't do he's not the best at any of them, but the dude's pretty damn good at pretty much every position they put him in.
Yeah, he's been like that. I believe he's closing on 10 years of being with the Saints. So, I mean, what he does
Yeah,
is just remarkable. He's a jack of all trades when it comes to tight end, running back, option quarterback, tight end, and they have them all over the place. And I mean, you can't ask for any more execution that that guy has.
no. Yeah. So Texans at Bengals. Texans. Marcus, you're going to listen to this later on. Your Bengals lost. I actually picked the Bengals. You picked the Texans.
Yeah, I knew. I picked the Texans because the rookie is hot, and we had this talk about that. This guy is having an MVP year in his first year. So the way he's throwing the ball out there and executing and getting players down the field and just chop, 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 bang, chop, 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 bang. That's how he's supposed to do with the young guys like that. And he went out there with a Super Bowl caliber team and went out there and beat them. And they're 5-4 right now, and they're in the AFC South. So win 2 or 3 more and some losses here and there, they can make the playoffs. They can definitely make the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how those other teams react when the Texans start winning more games.
Yeah, Stroud had 356 yards, and to be honest, Joe Burrow had 347, but they just couldn't pull it off.
No, I mean, it doesn't even count really, especially
kudos to Houston.
Yeah, go down there, and then he threw 2 interceptions, which didn't help. So I guess he'll do it. I'm looking at Chase. He had 124 yards and 117 yards by Boyd. I mean, those are amazing stacks, but you can't see the outcome of the game. If they lost, you got to go on. And it's all about execution and keeping on playing.
Yep. Titans, Buccaneers. Buccaneers 20, Titans 6. What in the world? Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 24 yards.
Yeah, I think I said the Texans are going to win that one. I just felt they'll have a better running game than that, especially with Henry. But, due to them beating them up so much and then, getting behind so quick, they got to throw the ball. And you got a rookie out there, and you don't want a rookie throwing the ball, especially playing from behind. And that's what's happening in the last couple of games with them, and it's just not working. They got to get that offense rolling. But due to the fact that these guys are 3-6, it's going to be very, very highly unlikely that they're going to make it to the playoffs. So they're just going to be trying to play for a good draft pick and just finish the season out healthy as best they can.
Yeah, they're sitting at number 8 on draft picks right now. Lions at Chargers. Nice job, Lions. Damn. 41-38.
I picked the Lions.
Yeah,
I told you. Dan Campbell, man, is the man.
They just
I'm telling
rolling. Where
you.
are they sitting right
Now look at
now?
Jared Goff. He's throwing with a 23 for 33, 333 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, those guys are balling. And the veteran back that was in Chicago last year, 12 carries for 116 yards. I never thought he would be have that
Montgomery,
type
yeah.
of success out there. So he's getting it done. They're executing the ball. The defense is slowing them up a little bit, and they're just doing it. And the Chargers pass happy team. Herbe had what 27 for 43, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. I mean, looking at here the stats, I mean, it's saying how did they even lose? But like you say, different causes in the game because what it is, you sit there and lose towards the end, and the Chargers are 4-5 right now. They're going to be fighting for a playoff. They got to win another at least 4 or 5 games just to compete for the playoffs out there in the West, because you have Kansas City and Denver. Are we going to talk about Denver? I mean, Denver, all those guys out there,
Oh no,
they're
yeah.
coming up. They're coming up, so it's going to be a wild chase out there, especially towards the season's end.
Yeah. Falcons at Cardinals. I'm pretty sure I took the Falcons, but the Cardinals pulled it out. Kyler Murray's first game back, 19 of 32, 249 yards. I mean, he did pretty good. Hell, Taylor Heineke got 55 yards.
Oh my God! I didn't. I'll tell you the truth. I didn't watch that game, so
I didn't either, but I'm just looking. I didn't know it was 55
goodness gracious,
yards.
that's bad right there. I mean, the running back got more yards than that. The running back should never have more
Oh,
yards than the quarterback, and that's bad. That's
yeah.
bad. Oh man, I mean it's
We're just gonna move
yeah. Let's
on
move
from that
on.
one
Let's
because
go
that's
on.
just
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
so. I watched this game. I watched it from beginning to end. New York Giants, Dallas
the,
Cowboys. Now, if you watch this game in the first quarter, you would have seen 0 New York Giants 0, Dallas Cowboys 7. It looked like this was going to be a really good game. Of course, by the time halftime hit, it was 28-0, and then it was just nonstop. It got so bad that Dallas ended up pulling their starters because it was just that much of basically a joke. Dak Prescott hit I think it was a Cowboys record, 404 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 26 of 35. The opposing quarterback was 14 of 27,
oh
86
goodness
yards.
gracious.
Barkley got 66, but they were using Barkley wrong all in the game. Not that DeVito. I'm gonna say this. I think Danny DeVito could have done a better job than Tommy DeVito.
Well, I mean, I'm really, really surprised at the Giants this year. They made the playoffs last year, for crying out loud. And I don't think that the injury to what was the quarterback name? Jones. I know, yeah,
Daniel
Daniel
Jones.
Jones had really anything to do with it.
Well, that just
Yeah, it
happened.
just happened. And plus,
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor, the second string quarterback, is on IR. Then you get the DeVito. He's a third string quarterback. I mean, how could he play better? He's third string. This dude wasn't even looking to play this year, but he's thrown out there, and he got to do what he have to do because you're a professional. That's the thing you have to do. But I was expecting.
You watch that game and you watch Dayball just shaking his head.
Yeah, I was expecting this from Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants game. Something like that. Not the crazy score that happened, but I expected definitely the Cowboys going to win by 21, and that's what happened. And everything's all fine and dandy right now in Cowboys land. I'm driving around in Dallas. I see Cowboys flags out right now, but they didn't have them out last week.
But see, this is it. Just like with the Chicago Bears. Don't get too excited just because you won a damn game, right? It was against who it was. It's the same thing for Dallas. Don't get too excited because here's the problem. Y'all get too excited, and what ends up happening? Somebody comes and puts a thumping on you. You still got to get past. Yeah, you still got to get past the Eagles. So let's it always frustrates me, and I get that you need to get excited, you need to get pumped up, you need to get moving forward, but you sack the quarterback and you're sitting there jumping up and down and you're so excited and then you go back to the line, the motherfucker gets a touchdown the next time. And it's like, why? What in the world, man? Why don't you just turn around and go, okay, let's do it again? Don't get me wrong. You get 2 sacks in a row. Okay, now
Yeah,
we can
now I get
start
it.
getting a
Yeah.
little bit more hype.
Hmm.
We can get a little bit more. But you're not stopping anybody. You get a sack and you're all like, man, come on, move on. Move, next play. Because the Cowboys did. It was, of course, they had such a good game on defense, but it was a sack and then another sack and then another sack. It was just utterly ridiculous. And in that instance, yes, you need to be your team's winning, you're going through it. Hell yeah. Go, celebrate all you want. But if it's a tight game, y'all need to quit celebrating. Get back to the line. Say, hey, man, let's do it again. Let's do it again. You get 2 in a row, motherfucker, you need to be, you can start celebrating at
And
that
that's one
point.
of the things I look at when I'm watching these games in NFL and college. You always get the guy, the defensive lineman that goes to get a sack, running around, doing that stuff, or the DB that gets to knock the ball down and they doing this crap right there. I purposely look at that player on the next play. And I can count 3 or 4 times when the DB has done that this past weekend that it was a touchdown the next play. A touchdown.
Yeah, or a big.
That's
Yeah,
one play.
it doesn't matter even
That's
if it's
one play.
even if it's a first
Yeah.
down. It's kind of I did kind of like what Zeke did. Feed me, because that was the point. Although you kept feeding him, he kept getting whacked. Again, don't feed him anymore. Move on. But the just the celebrations that go with it. But you had the play where Dak threw the ball and just randomly threw it up, and CeeDee Lamb came back. You can celebrate that play, because we all thought that was just going to the ground, and ended up CeeDee Lamb just hauled ass back towards the ball and caught it by random.
Yeah.
I mean, it was phenomenal. But in the instance of the Dallas Cowboys this weekend, yeah, celebrate all you want. If you're winning and you're putting a thumping on somebody like that, man, have fun. Get out there and have a good time. But to all these teams who are celebrating, who are losing, man, y'all need to chill out.
Chill out. I mean, sometimes you can have some little celebrations like that, depending on what the circumstance is. You got to get a little fire going with the guys, especially if you're losing, things like that, even to wake yourself up. But still, you got to play after that. You got a next play after that. You got a next play after that. So I was anxious. Like I said, I always look at those guys who do that and see what they do next play. If a defensive lineman get the sack or anything, I look at the next play and they get their ass rolled up by an offensive guard or something like that, because those guys are pissed off for what you had did before. So, they get blown up off the ball or get knocked in the ass or something like that. So, and the DB who did the incomplete sign gets a touchdown next play against them. So, those guys, I don't like that. So, I mean, if you go there and your buddy came up high five, but like, hey man, I got to be prepared for the next play. We got another 40 plays to go.
Right. Yeah. We just started this shit, man. Just everybody calm the fuck down.
You just started it. And the Cowboys, talk about the Cowboys, their next game is Carolina. So maybe
that's gonna be an easy one.
It should be a nice
easy. Little fluffer game.
It should be easy, but this is the Dallas Cowboys. It should be easy. So,
don't get too excited.
Don't get too excited. But
don't get too excited.
One thing about the Dallas Cowboys is that it's always the hooting and hollering and anything like that, which is fine. But I always wait to see after that. That Thanksgiving game is the signal to how their season is going to be progressing after that, because that last 4 games of the season after Thanksgiving are the ones that's going to determine whether or not how successful they're going to be in the playoffs. So, win this Cardinals game right here. Not the Cardinals, the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. And then they have, who do they have for Thanksgiving? Oh, they got Washington.
I don't know.
Now, Washington going to come in and play like a Super Bowl, so we really don't know what's going to happen. So, it's just going to be anxious to see how they're going to perform, because Carolina is not going to beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys will beat the Cowboys. And same with the next game after that being a short week and Thanksgiving. The Commanders are not going to come in and beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys will beat the Cowboys. So they're just going to keep this train rolling. And they keep it rolling like this.
Yeah.
And maybe get one loss or two losses the rest of the season. We'll see. Because after that, they got the Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, and Lions.
So I do want to go back because we're talking about the don't get excited. Chicago, don't get excited. Dallas, don't get too excited. I do want to tell Vikings fans, get excited. Texans fans, get excited. Lions fans, get excited. Not that you're gonna win the Super Bowl, but just what your team is doing now. Those guys get excited. So we move on to our next one, Seattle and the Commanders. Seattle pulled it out 29-26. Obviously it was a close game. Geno Smith put up 31-47, 369 yards, 2 touchdowns. But hell, even Sam Howell out there, 29-44, 312 yards, 2
They
touchdowns.
want that guy to
That
succeed.
was a great.
I've never even
Yeah.
heard of this guy until he got to the NFL, but they really, really want this guy to succeed. He's been up and down this year. So they're just trying to push him to be a starter. So it's going to be interesting to see who are they gonna keep progressing with him, or they're gonna try to get somebody in, or what? So we shall see.
Yeah. The next one is Jets at Raiders. Raiders won 16-12. Raider fans, do not
Do
get
not get
excited.
excited. Do not get excited. I mean, if this
Yeah,
wasn't
don't get excited.
one of the most boringest games, most boring game of the week. I mean, it was one of those games that just give me heartburn. It was like, man, I kept flipping, go watch something else,
Yeah.
flipping, watch something. I watched the custom made car channel or something when they put big wheels on cars and stuff, and was flipping back and forth to watch this game because I couldn't leave that thing on the whole time. So it's just one of those agonizing games. But the Raiders, I mean, they won. They won. They five and
Yeah,
five.
they
So
won.
it's gonna be. Nah, don't get excited, Raiders fans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
don't
get
get
excited. Yeah,
excited.
do
Nah,
not
don't
get
get
excited.
excited, Vaughn.
Zach Wilson did put up 23 of 39, 263 yards. Just you couldn't finish. So we do this one. This one's entertaining. Broncos beat the Bills. Bronco fans, don't get too excited. And Bills fans, y'all need to calm the fuck down right now, because
Well, I don't
wow.
know. I think the Broncos fans should get excited. I think they should get excited because they're in a better position that better than what they were a couple of weeks ago, especially with the last couple of wins. And like I said, that AFC on
Yeah.
the west side is definitely going to be a challenge with all those playoff caliber teams that's going in there because no matter how you win, it still is a win, and that can definitely put you in a position that you can make the playoffs. So I don't think they can't count them out just yet. They can't count them out just yet. So we're gonna have to see how this is gonna come out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how that's all playing out right now. Teams that you never thought were gonna be where they're at. So this week, Cincinnati's at Baltimore. I'm gonna take Baltimore on that one.
I'm gonna take Cincy on it. I'll take Cincy on it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Cincy on it because Baltimore Ravens probably they were looking at wounds, and Cincinnati got to win some. They got to start winning some games. They're gonna make the playoffs. So especially with those guys right there, and those numbers that they're putting up on offense, defense is not showing up too well. So Lamar Jackson's probably gonna get the yards and get the Baltimore Ravens what they need in order to win. But I think the Cincinnati will be pulling out the numbers and the win at the end.
All right. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. I think in Cleveland will pull
Pittsburgh
it
is going to win that one, man. They're going to find a way.
off.
Find a way. All you got to do is they're going to be so consistent, and they're just going to keep hitting Deshaun Watson. And then Deshaun Watson going to throw that ball on the air. It's going to be T.J. Watt going to get an interception and run it all the way down to the 15 until he's tackled. That's my vision.
Chicago at Detroit.
Oh man. You know what? I predict that the Chicago Bears will be hanging on somewhere around 8 minutes left in the third quarter, and then Detroit just going to leave them. They're just going to leave them. So I would say that game will be 28-10 or something like that because They're going to try to run that ball and get the Bears defense on the heels.
Montgomery.
Montgomery, he's got something to prove because he
Yeah.
didn't. I don't think he wanted
Against
to
his
leave the
team.
Chicago Bears, but he did, and now he's with
Nope.
the Lions, and he's going to go in and chop them up. Chop them up.
Yeah. I'm going to take Chicago knowing the Lions are going to win, but I'm taking Chicago.
No, I mean,
LA.
I want to take the Bears, but I'm going with the Lions on this
one. LA Chargers at Green Bay. I don't know. They both suck at this point. It's a pretty equal.
Yeah, I would say the Chargers are going to pull this one out. It's really kind of hard to say anything about the prediction of what's going to happen with these two teams because they're both seesaw, teeter-totter back and forth. So that's one. It's hard. So I just picked the San Diego Chargers for that.
I'm going to take Green Bay only because they're at Green
Just
Bay.
because of home field advantage. All right.
That's it.
It won't be sunny California and laying on the beaches and type, get a nice pretty tan for those guys out in Green Bay. Probably be dark and moldy and overcast.
Yep. Vegas at Miami. I mean, I can't see Vegas beating Miami.
Yeah, I can't see them. The spread is 12 points. I'm just looking at it right here. So, they had a slow game last week. Were they overseas last week or that was the week before? Miami.
No. I don't remember.
Well, whatever the case, I say Tariq Hill's probably going to get 150 yards against this defense because the Raiders' defense has definitely been inconsistent this year, and he's just going to run all over them along with the other receiver, Waddle. So how you say that? How do you say the quarterback's last name?
Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua's going to have a good. Tua's going to have a good game against these guys because these DBs that the Raiders have are nothing. They just run over the place, pointing fingers at the other guy like you're supposed to have him. So that is going to be something to watch. I'll watch that
one. New York Giants at Washington. I'm going to take Washington.
Yeah, Washington gets this. I mean, not the Bears, the Giants. Third string quarterback, DeVito. The offense is moving decently for Washington. Washington goes in for the win. Not much said about these two.
Yeah. Dallas at Carolina.
Yeah, Dallas going to beat Carolina. It's probably. I don't think there's going to be 49 whatever it was with the Giants, but I can say it's something going to be about 2 touchdowns ahead at least for this win. And they're going to go down and smack those guys up. So enough said.
Tennessee, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Tennessee is not looking good right now. They're not going to make the playoff. Jacksonville needs to rebound, especially having a bad game against the 49ers. So look for them to do what they need to do to be able to get that thing done.
Arizona at Houston. I don't give a crap about Kyler Murray. Houston is going to.
Yeah, Houston's going to do a pretty good job. Tyler Murray's going to force and get to throw two interceptions on his way back, trying to get a win. Little munchkin.
Tampa Bay at San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco. Spank on those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So they were looking good last week. Very energetic on defense. The quarterback is very consistent on picking out the holes. I mean, it's no better team in the NFL right now that's very consistent. That's like the San Francisco 49ers. Even with the losses, I mean, it just happened. They're just consistent. So they're definitely going to win this game.
Yeah. New York Jets at Buffalo. I think Buffalo is going to get vengeance for that.
Yeah, Buffalo's going to smack them up. They played so horribly last night. They're just going to get their things together and go out there and beat up on those lowly Jets. And the defense is going to be tight for the Jets for a while, but they can only hold so long because they're going to be on the field most of the time because the Jets' offense is not doing very well. And Buffalo's going to have the victory.
Now, this one, I don't even know where to go with this one. Seattle at LA Rams. I would normally take the Rams, but I think I'm gonna take Seattle on this one, even
No,
in
I'm going
LA.
to take Seattle on this because they had a turnover problem with
Yeah,
the QB there, but he's been making a resurrection on being consistent like he did last year for his Pro Bowl season. So I definitely
yeah.
Seattle for this game. The Rams are so up and down, and they look kind of tired and burned out. Well, I mean, they had like about 5 successful years. So it's about time for them to clean up the shop.
Minnesota at Denver. I'm gonna take
I'll take
Minnesota.
Minnesota with that, and let me think about that just for a little bit. Minnesota at Denver.
At Denver.
You know what? I think I'm going to take Denver on that one because they won this
All
last
right.
game, and Russell Wilson is looking a little bit better than he did at the beginning of the season. And having them win this last game, I think the momentum is going to go towards Denver side, especially them going to the Mile High area of in Denver. So I expect Dobbs to get his normal. He's going to have a good game, but
Yeah.
as for winning, I think the Denver Broncos are the ones that's going to come out on top.
All right. All right. All right. So last but not least, this one I actually really like. I will stay up and watch this one on Monday night. It is the repeat of the Super Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles at Kansas City. I'm
Mm,
going to say the Philadelphia Eagles.
no, mm-mm, nah,
No, they get their second loss of the year.
nah. Them Kansas City to roll all over those Eagles, man. The Eagles not ready. Those Eagles are not ready for KC. So I think
Mm,
Mahomes is going to be Mahomes. He was slowed up the last game because he had a little flu and all that other stuff. Because it showed definitely on TV. But Kansas City Chiefs are going to come out on top on that one. And Hurts hasn't been putting the numbers that he usually have been up, but he's going to try. But I think Kansas City is going to jump out on top real quick, and then it's going to lead to Hurts have to pass every play towards the end of the game, and that's not what they want to do.
so that's going to be an interest because I
Yeah,
I am 100%. I mean I'm taking
I
Philadelphia
got
in
I
this
got
one. I
Casey on this.
To me that
Yeah, I
is
got
the
Casey.
this is the this is the game of the
Yeah,
week
that's the
for
game of the
me.
week.
This is
Definitely. I didn't know
yeah
about that one. I'm gonna
that is
definitely watch that one.
yeah that is all these other games. I'm kind of
Yeah,
like eh
I watch the
meh,
highlights.
you know. Yeah, I mean, even there's not a game on here. I guess Cincinnati and Baltimore is a game I'd really want to watch. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, I could care less. Chicago, Detroit, of course, I'm going to watch. LA, Green Bay, Vegas, Miami. Yep, nope, nope. That's just gonna be yep. A lot of these are just ass whoopings, or you never know, or who cares. But that Philadelphia Kansas game for me is gonna be it's gonna be a good game.
Okay, I just saw something right here on my little iPad that Michigan State is going to be playing Alcorn State this Sunday. Ooh, them Spartans
Ooh,
gonna spank them, gonna spank them up. Gonna get them old country
uh
boys out
oh.
there in Mississippi. They're gonna spank them dudes up and let them know
Oh,
how the big boys play.
you talking about it
Yeah,
basketball, right?
basketball. We don't have much to say about football, Michigan State football, but
Yeah.
basketball definitely gonna spank those Alcorn State. What are they? Indians, Braves. That's what it is. Alcorn State Braves. So I'm definitely gonna put this posted on Facebook and see
Oh,
how I get a reaction from the Alcorn buddies of Dallas, Texas.
yeah. That's next Sunday, the
Yep,
19th.
it's coming up. Ooh, that's gonna be a good
Ooh.
one. Need to make some bets.
Vaughn, you've been
You've been
called
called
out.
out. You've been called out.
You've been called out. All right, man. Anything else?
No, no, I don't see anything else. No, our favorite Chicago Bulls. They're going back and forth. I mean, those guys are all three of the main guys: Levine and Rosen and the center guy. I can't think of his name on top. They all got 20 freaking points every doggone game, and they lose. I don't see how all you guys are getting 20 freaking points a game and you guys lose. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's so frustrating. I think it's that coach. They need to get a new coach.
Yeah, four. They're sitting at 4-7.
4-7. That's not good for this time
Well,
of year.
no, Dallas is doing really well. They're number 2 right now at 8-2, tied with the Nuggets.
Yeah, the Mavericks are doing pretty good. It seemed like Murray, not gonna say Kyrie Irving, and Doncic looks like
Kyrie Irving,
they're
yeah.
gelling finally and working together. Like, hey, if I'm scoring, you give it to me, or you scoring, I give it to you, and it seemed like to be working in their favor. And plus, they have a center out there that's for the first time in years that's actually playing pretty well. And
How's how's the Spurs guy doing? Who's the 7 foot something Spurs guy?
say so, he was coming in the league saying 7'5", but I think they actually measured him at 7'3". I mean, he looks like a walking stick out there. But I was thinking he was a stiff, but he's quite athletic because I've been watching. He's very athletic, blocking shots, shooting shots. I mean, he's shooting 20 shots a game. I saw he was 8 for 22 a couple of games ago. He's a professional in the Euro League, and he's not like a rookie out of college. So he's playing at an NBA level, but I think he's still learning the logistics of being in the NBA. So if this guy stay healthy, he'll be a phenomenal force.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, because right now the 76ers are number 1, Celtics, Pacers, Bucks, and Heat. That's the top 5 in the Eastern. The Western, it's Nuggets, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Rockets, and Thunder. Lakers are way down there, number 8.
Yeah, all these teams are searching for
They're a lot.
identity right now. So they're not going to find out who they're going to be until the new year. So that's when we can really talk
Yeah,
about those guys.
there's a lot of basketball to be played.
Yeah, a lot of basketball. So, yep, we'll get to that when time is needed, though.
All right, man. Well, cool. We appreciate everybody who watches. Man, we thank you. Y'all have a good day. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Pretty much leaves it
All
open.
right.